did that come from?
That came from, we wanted to do a game that's with realistic body proportions, and but you know, this is a fantasy world, and we wanted it to take the player out of this world. You know, somebody somewhere that you've never been before. And so here you see on that bridge here you see one of the guides. Well, so there are this faction that took you to this place to monitor your progress and decide whether you're worthy of becoming an Absolver. So you'll be, we're fighting in co-op here, so you'll be playing, you can play the game by yourself or with co-op partners. And so this is the exploration part of the game, from which you can access actual game modes such as PvP and PvE game modes.
Nice.
I see that we're starting out with just fists. Does that mean I need to go collect my weapons and kind of upgrade myself?
Weapons. And actually what you see here is that you see in the distance two people fighting. So as you move in the game world, as I was saying, you'll be encountering other players, and sometimes they're in the distance like these, and you can't meet up with them. Yeah. But you know, maybe a bit further down the road, you'll be able to join forces with them.
I like that you just happen to run into people who are fighting to the death. Like, hey guys, I'm just all right, cool.
Just passing by.
Yeah, cool.
It's a tough neighborhood.
I'm so glad just looking at this. The you know, just the melee combat is super compelling, because in video games, it's how people, like how humans were meant to fight, but we didn't get it right in video games until right now. It's like, it's always so infuriating when games do not do punching correctly. Like, that's all we've ever been doing, and it's never compelling.
That's what struck us when we saw it. It was just like this smooth cinematic, like dodging, moving, and he can talk more about it, but the flow to the combat's amazing.
We certainly have been focusing on getting these punches and kicks in correctly. You know, you get a real feeling of impact when your blows connect, and that was important for us.
What goes into that process for people who don't know what it's like to develop video games? Or is there something cool happening?
Yeah, this is a couple of things, game mechanics we want to talk about here.
Cool.
Which is what we call flowing attacks. So when you're just attacking regularly, you see your green stamina bar in the upper left corner. There's this little gauge filling up, and you need to actually hit your blows in the correct timing, as you see here, and so he turns golden. And so in this game you shouldn't button mash. You know, it's all about timing, execution. So even when you're in the middle of battle under pressure, you gotta know your attacks, be in the good flow, and because these flowing attacks allow you to chain attacks faster, stun your enemy longer. Here we're seeing special ability, because every character can choose and learn a combat style. There's a variety of styles to choose from, and each style has a special ability. And so here we're seeing the special ability, which is a parry. And so you can execute either parry left or parry right. And that allows you to counter your opponents and stun them and get the advantage. So you gotta read the attack, like here, parry left or parry right, and then you can get a couple of attacks in.
Yeah, I feel like that really adds complexity to, you know, a melee combat system's parrying, because like you could just smash each other in the face with fists, but that's not how real fighting works. You're going to dodge and deflect and turn the fight around.
Adds complexity is that what you're seeing here is you're able to feint, and so once your opponent knows your attacks and start parrying each and every one of them, you can actually trigger an attack and cancel it and feint your attack. So that's what we're hearing here. So she's parrying me again, and so now I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna feint an attack and then trick her into parrying or dodging the attack and get another attack in.
I learned that from my older brother. He would just
no, stop. That's exactly it. Like and you're like, button
and
mash.
then you hit them. Yes.
Exactly. So here you see I've just parried a low attack. So you get the advantage when you start parrying.
And am I right now fighting against NPCs, or am I fighting other potential players?
So this is you with a co-op partner, and most of the people you're fighting here are NPCs, but you'll be encountering both NPCs and other players seamlessly as you
like
progress in the world.
when you come up to a character, at first you're not necessarily sure if it was a player or an NPC, which is kind of cool.
Oh, neat, yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time into making sure the NPCs kind of fight like people would fight?
Oh yeah, it's well, that's the the AI design, it's a bit too long to go into depth here, but for sure it needs to be it needs to be interesting to fight NPCs.
Yeah,
so they
absolutely.
get good reactions. If you faint, they're actually gonna try.
They
and parry.
react like
Yeah.
a person would react.
Very
I mean, that
much
makes
so.
things so much more
Very
compelling.
much so.
I just saw you kind of charge yourself with this red energy. Was that your power?
That's items. So here we only have one item, which is in the top, bottom left corner, which is a regen item. You use it with these little stones that are glowing in your back. And these are tension shards. They charge up with the adrenaline of combat, and you can use that power to use items, magical items, powers, and stuff.
Wow. Very cool.
And so here we're countering the
this guy's a
enemy.
badass.
Yeah, he's bigger. He hits pretty hard, and he's got a different style, and he's got a special ability which allows him to avoid attacks. So you can either duck to avoid low attacks, or jump to avoid attacks. Or actually, the other way around.
If you duck to avoid low attack,
Yeah,
you're gonna
that's
shit
what I would do in the
bananas.
game.
Like, oh, sorry.
It's really cool. That's what I was saying earlier, though. You have this. It has this good cinematic feel to it. The flow is there. Like when people dodge and move, it's all smooth. The animation that Sloclap has done is outstanding.
And so here, we're actually gonna see this avoid from up close. Like, boom, he's avoided you. You see this ghost appearing, and well, 2 against 1. Friendly fire is on, as you can see.
Don't kick your friends
You can
in the
kick your
face.
friends in the neck.
Exactly.
I never learned that as a kid. I didn't have many friends.
And so I'm learning to counter different abilities of different
Exactly.
types of enemies.
And so here you're walking around in the world and you happen to encounter another player, and so you don't know what's going to happen, but it tells me to come in. So okay, he wants to fight. Let's fight. You know.
This guy
But
obviously didn't see what you did to
you'll
the
know.
other guy. He was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be easy. It's fine.
I got this.
But you can trade. You can make friends. You don't necessarily have to fight with other players you meet. And this guy didn't make the good decision because it's two of us. It's only him. But well, he felt like attacking.
People have
so
been there
fine.
before. St. Patrick's
So,
Day. You know.
Just used a shockwave, and now he felt endangered, so he pulled the sword to try and get. So to answer
fair.
Ooh, and how do I parry a sword if I don't have one?
Well, your parry is a kind of magical parry, so you've got a
We're
magical
still talking
shield.
fiction here, okay? So.
No, that's great. I can buy magical parry. I'm totally into that.
And I love that you're always surprised with what new abilities or new weapons or whatever. So you think you know everything, and then you are hit in the face with a new foot or item. So
So where we're gonna go in here is you're discovering a few attacks here, and until now we've seen the basic combat and to make it really fluid and accessible, but it's actually much deeper than that. And that what we're seeing here is our combat deck. So you've got 4 stances to choose from. So in real-time combat, you can get into 4 stances. And depending on each of these stances, you've got a sequence of up to 3 attacks and an alternative attack. And so here in the top left sequence, we only have unlocked 1 attack in the sequence because with progression, you progressively unlock different slots. So you progressively discover attacks. And so
also
here, for the moment, you have 3 attacks in your sequences, which is a jab, a cross punch, and a back fist. So I'm going to go ahead and edit that last attack in the sequence and replace my last hit
Wow.
by a front kick.
There is so much to talk about in this game, and I feel like we could talk about it for hours and hours more, but unfortunately we only